Welcome back. This is All Angles on eNCA. We are on DSTV channel 403. Well, President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to receive the first part of the state capture inquiry report later on today. The handover was delayed due to the death of Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu last week. The report will be handed over in 3 phases. Once the report is in the public domain, Parliament will be able to act on it and take the necessary steps. Hopefully they will. Well, the Public Works Minister, Patricia de Lille, has assured South Africans that the report will be discussed by Parliament despite the damaging fire. For more on the state capture report, I'm now joined by former Constitutional Court Justice Johan Kriegler. Justice Kriegler, thank you. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. So how significant is this moment, the receipt of the first batch of the 3 reports, the 3 batched reports that President Ramaphosa will receive in line with the State Capture Commission's work?
Tulasizwe, good morning to you and good morning to the viewers. I think you've really answered the question by inference. The delivery of the report is a matter of enormous public interest, enormous public moment. The situation that gave rise to the appointment of the Commission should be in our minds. You will recall the then Public Protector's report on what it called the state of capture, the battle with Parliament, with the then President, and ultimately the ice-breaking, earth-moving decision of the Constitutional Court in December 2017, when it said what the Public Protector says must be done. It is obligatory. And then the decision to appoint a commission of inquiry endorsed by the Constitutional Court, and the fact that then President Zuma couldn't nominate the chairperson, that would have to be done by the Chief Justice. These were all tremendously important constitutional issues, and they've now come to a head in the delivery of the report. Yeah. It's going to contain, I am sure, earth-shattering material. It's going to contain highly revealing observations, conclusions and recommendations. It is indeed a day for the whole of the South African government to rethink precisely where we stand in relation to state capture.
Justice Kriegler, I noticed that there's someone who's a bit impatient at your door that is ringing the bell. Hopefully they can bear with you for a few more moments while we conclude our conversation. What do you make, and what do you think South Africans should make of the controversies partly arising from the opposition benches basically seeking more transparency, but more pointedly from organizations such as Democracy in Action, who have gone to the extent of actually trying to get an urgent interdict to try and stop the handover of the report to President Ramaphosa, basically saying that he is an interested party and likely implicated, certainly from their reading of the testimonies of a few witnesses, and therefore is not the suitable person to receive this report.
Tulasizwe, dogs may bark and the caravan must move on. The small political actions and tricks must be ignored. The issue of the report is of great national moment. We must not be deterred by minor politicians making minor attacks. Whether you agree or disagree with the Commission, you must wait for it. You must allow the President to read it. The court order made provision for the report to be handed over to Parliament within a given time. That will happen. Everything will be done in an orderly fashion. Let us look at the report and then resume all of the political debates.
But from a technicality, Justice Kriegler, is there any kind of issue of conflict of interest between a president? Because at the time when the Commissions Act was first drafted, we didn't even have a president at that time as a position. We had the Governor General, that tells you how far back the Commissions Act goes. But there's provision in the Constitution in Section 84 that provides for the president to be the person who appoints commissions of inquiry. 84(2)(f), if I'm not mistaken, is the section that's relevant there. But is there anything technically in terms of law to worry about that a president who at one point or another appears before the commission, thus appointed in terms of the two pieces of law that I talk about, appears there, testifies, is a witness, and also in some instances his name is actually mentioned in some of the testimony led there. Technically, putting politics aside, do we have anything to think about there?
Tulasizwe, you're asking me to express a legal opinion on a matter that may come before the courts, and I'm reluctant to express any legal opinion. I would say, however, my own private view is that it is in the national interest, whatever the technicalities, that the report be received, be looked at, and be published, and that the President tell Parliament within the given space of time what he is going to do about the recommendations of the Commission. Absolutely. That, I think, is in the national interest, whatever the technicalities.
Just on a side matter then, Justice Kriegler, you keep referring to the role of Parliament in all of this, in ensuring that there's follow-through in the implementation of the recommendations of the report. And you and I speak now at this moment with the National Assembly building certainly gutted, razed to the ground by that fire. Reports still awaiting to determine the extent of the damage, and as far as the National Council of Provinces and the old Assembly is concerned. How important is it that Parliament, as an institution of our democracy, if we separate the building that's pretty much gone, the institution stepping up at this time and playing and showing and demonstrating that it can play its role, and starting with this report?
Tulasizwe, you're touching on a very important matter. Our Constitution has three centers of power in the state: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The legislature has been found not to have played its proper role. It is supposed to supervise the president and the president's administration at all times. It failed abysmally to do so in the case of then President Zuma. It not only allowed the Nkandla matter to ride until the court had to draw them to order, but it failed to investigate at any stage the clearly visible evidence of state capture. So Parliament has got a blotted copybook in this regard. It is now up to Parliament, as it is now composed, to show that it knows its job, it will do its job, it will perform its function in the interests of the people of South Africa.
All right, Justice Johan Kriegler, thank you so much for your time and your insights here on All Angles on eNCA. Always appreciated. I'm back.